Ooh, boy, that's slappy pappy right there. Huh? You excited? You excited to do a show? Are you happy? Are you happy, Scrappy? All right. Hello. How's it going? Thursday. It's Houston with a problem time. Doing the show a little bit earlier because I got to get out of here a little earlier to, I got to go pick up Chilpa Batman's pills before the vet closes and do a couple things. But, yeah, the news today, crypto is flying for no reason. Brazil signed a trade deal with China, a really big trade deal with China, a day after Trump sent a really unhinged, threatening letter to Brazil. And my guess is Brazil's like, we don't need you, which they don't. They don't actually need us anymore. We have vaporized any nation's need for us at this point. But at the same time, the Trump administration is really, really mad that they asked Europe to boost defense spending, and then Europe is investing in their own defense contractors and not buying things from Americans. And they're like, how dare you not buy from Americans? And they're like, well, you're levying a bunch of useless tariffs against us, so we're not going to buy anything from you ever again. So that's happening. A whistleblower came forward in the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case. Remember, Kilmar Abrego Garcia was the man accidentally arrested. He had documentation papers, work permit, etc. Accidentally arrested and then sent to the Seacoast prison in El Salvador, even though he's not El Salvadoran. He's Venezuelan. And then he was, after people were pissed off and the courts were ordering him to bring him back, the United States government, after saying, oh, we don't have the power to bring him back, brought him back. And then immediately charged him for human trafficking charges, which were completely trumped up. And a DOJ lawyer filed as an official protected whistleblower and came forward today with proof the Trump administration falsified the evidence against Abrego Garcia to get the grand jury indictment against him. So, yeah. And on top of that, the U.S. government just deleted 1 million immigrants' parole. Meaning these are people that are here. They might have work permits. They might have asylum seekers, refugee status, awaiting further paperwork for green cards or visas, etc. These are folks that are in the system, that are going to the immigration hearings and to the immigration offices, to their meetings, and the government just deleted their legal status, 1 million of them. So now, the ICE, who now has a $160 billion budget, they now get to go round these people up and send their asses to private prisons operated by private equity. So, it's a big old money train for these fucking monsters, and that's where we are. It's disgusting. There's nothing redeeming at all about what we're doing. This is the stuff of Nazis, and it is getting worse every day. And I won't stop saying that until they haul my ass away to one of these camps. So, there you go. Anything else I want to add, Monkey? Oh, Spy's also hitting new highs. On no good news again. Pay attention. When Berkshire Hathaway finally starts spending their $370 billion in cash they've amassed, that's the time to jump into the blue chips and everything else. Until then, this is all Wall Street trying to get you, the retail investor, to be bag holders and all this. It's going to come crashing down and come crashing down really, really hard. Commercial real estate's toast. Housing's toast. We are currently actively trying to deport between 8 to 15% of our entire GDP. Our food insecurity is going to climb as we don't have people to pick and grow the food. Construction is just dead because the people who build the things in our country are getting deported. We do not have the population that can replenish itself. We aren't having enough kids. I'm 44. I don't have any kids. Well, I got a whole bunch of sperm donor babies, but that doesn't really count. Somebody else is raising them. We're not repopulating our nation, so we have to bring immigrants in. We've always brought immigrants in. Unless you're Native American or the children of slaves, you're not an immigrant. Oh, sorry, you are an immigrant. So this is the stuff that makes us kick ass. It gives us probably the best food selection in the world. I'll say it. We've got, I mean, I've had great food elsewhere, but like as far as like choices are concerned, holy smokes, do we have it all? Now, plus Mexican food, dude. Oh, you travel elsewhere in the world, all you crave is Mexican food, and they don't have it. It's just, if you want to become a billionaire, get open up Mexican food franchises elsewhere in the world. Anywho, we need to import people. We have to import millions of people every single solitary year in order to replace our population that is not growing because we're not having kids. Why aren't we having kids? Because everything's too fucking expensive. It's too expensive. We're slapping everyone with hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loans, giant car loans, rent's going up, price of goods are going up. You know, our pay isn't climbing at the same rates, so we just can't do it. And then they're like, "Well, hey, you maybe we'll give people $5,000 if they have a baby. You better not take any welfare for your fucking kids, you loser." Right? There's mixed signals everywhere. Our schools suck. We're destroying the earth at such a fast rate. Iggy and I have been tallying just how many 100-year floods and greater, so 100-year, 500-year, 1,000-year floods, etc., have been going on. Because last year it was so many floods and so many wildfires from June on that we decided to keep track this year. We're at 41 100-year floods or worse globally since June 1st. Since June 1st, 41 100-year floods around this planet. And 200 miles away from these catastrophic floods, you will have out of control wildfires underneath these heat domes where they haven't had moisture in months, and the fires are just going nuts. No one's bringing kids into this world if that's what's happening, right? You can't afford anything, and everything's catching fire or flooding, and your schools suck, and your pay sucks, and your job prospects are awful, and you know we're just making things worse in this country, man. We gotta buck up and probably eat the rich. We can either eat the rich or we can tax them. That's basically the two options we have at this point if we're going to survive as a species. But you just look at the damage private equity is doing to everything. An article came out yesterday about some really shady stuff that went on during the NFL contract negotiations. And a whole bunch of information was hidden from NFL players. And now the NFL players are trying to get the contract annulled and renegotiated with an arbitrator. And who was behind it? Private equity, because NFL granted private equity the ability to own minority positions in multiple football teams. They're out there. Private equity is trying to take over the Virginia library system. Private equity is trying to take over children's sports right now. Private equity has already taken over, your HVAC guys, your plumbers, your electricians, right? What they do is they keep the family name, but they all have put them under the same system. So they'll just like send out trucks from there and just start price gouging you. They're taking over your veterinary clinics. This is because rich people have so much money, they don't know where to put it at this point. And they're like, well, we're out of everything that's traded on the markets. So what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to go find the mom and pop stores and just eviscerate them and put them all under our giant cabal because they don't know where to put their money. If we just tax the shit out of them, they wouldn't have all this money to ruin all the things that make our communities lovable and livable and passable. So yeah, I am just getting more and more pissed off. Every goddamn day I read the headlines of this stuff. If you are a company, you're a Walmart, Amazon, whatever, I would support a rule where if any of your employees qualify for government subsidies, 100% of your profits are taxed. Not only that, but all executive compensation, every management level position, every chief executive, vice president, etc., every single one of those people, board members, their entire compensation, including salaries, bonus, and stocks, are capped at $100,000. So if you want to run your company in a way that your fucking employees can't afford to live in the United States without government assistance, you don't get to send any dividends to your shareholders. You don't get to take home any real pay. So until you figure your shit out and figure out a way to support your employees so that they can live on 40 hours a week, you don't get to have the money you want. It'd be an easy way to solve all the labor problems in this country. Really, really, really easy way to solve those labor problems. Just tax the shit out of them. And if they were like, well, we're going to take our business overseas, take everything. Just fucking seize it all, nationalize it, send their ass out on the street, take their homes from them. Don't let them like threaten you. Oh, we're gonna take it overseas. That's what you're gonna do. Fucking swing them from the rafters at this point. I am fucking done. This is just garbage bullshit we're putting up with. You know, like I read an article about a man who stole a slice of pizza and went to prison for 15 years. Homeless dude, slice of pizza sitting on a table. He's starving. It's a crime of necessity because he's starving to death, right? Versus a dude who committed $3 billion in fraud, got 40 months. I would be willing to do away with the death penalty for crimes of passion, you know, things like that. I'm not a big fan of the death penalty because I don't think, you know, you catch your wife sleeping with a man, you go crazy. It's awful. You kill people. You shouldn't do that. But you're not in your right mind at that point. If you're serial murder, whatever, I mean, it would be different. But if you are a greedy son of a bitch and you're out there committing these white collar crimes, you're doing it because you know that if you get caught, it's just going to be a little slap on the wrist because you got a bunch of money. I'd be all for, if you are caught committing white collar crime, that we pack you into a canyon and fire you into a mountain. Let it be public on TV, just mist coming out, right? And because, you know, no one's going to be a greedy son of a bitch if they know that it's going to be eviscerated rather than going to Club Fed and then coming out with their millions or billions of dollars at the end. It's like, oh, well, it's cost to pay the boss, right? And we just need to eat the rich. Gotta eat them. Well, eat the super rich, I should say. Like, I have no problem someone having a nice house, a cool car, going on vacations. Cool. But if you are 3 mega yachts, 100 homes, helicopters, private security, blah, 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 tax the shit out of them until they're just plain old boring rich. Be done with it. If you want to be a cajillionaire and take your company public, and you're like, I started a company, I'm going to take it public. Okay, you're going to sell off 95% of your ownership. You get to keep 5%. No one can own more than 5% of the company. Keep it that way. So there's no controlled interest in a public company. It is all public. Either private, you can control it, or public. Pick one. Right? So, just tired of this crap. I'm tired of the bullshit they put us through. I'm tired of us, you know, wasting our entire power grid for AI slop and for people like Zuckerberg to have their little bunkers out there and be, you know why Zuckerberg has a bunker? Because he knows at some point we're going to be so pissed off at him, we're going to eat him. That's why he has a bunker. It's not because of, you know, world ending, whatever. It's because we're going to come with pitchforks and fire and we're going to eat them. That's what it comes down to. You know, Jeff Bezos can have a $60 million wedding where he rents the whole of Venice, and then his employees are pissing in bags and getting reprimanded if they take bathroom breaks. You know, it's inhumane. Like, this is not what we should be born into as human beings. We're a tribal people. We're a communal people. We built society to make everyone's lives better, not to maximize profit and drive revenue. And I have no problem with there being profit and there being revenue. But there has to be caps, right? I read these bullshit articles that come out of like Fortune and whatnot where
So like, Europe's problem is that when someone becomes a billionaire, they retire. And then in America, billionaires keep innovating.
Billionaires don't innovate shit. They may have had a company that got big. Boom. Once they get big, do you know what they start doing after that point? They basically stop innovating. What they start doing is using their vast collection of wealth to go out and buy other people who are innovating. They buy them. They buy their companies and they put them under their umbrella. If it's useful, they use it. If it's a threat to their domination, they squash the technology. That's all they do. So yeah, you get to $1 billion, you're done. Let somebody else step up and do it. I have no problem. We got these like greedy boomer folks who are 75, 80 years old who refuse to retire from the Senate or the House and let new people with new ideas come in who might actually want to better the world, because for some reason this 80-year-old can't just give up their crypt-like grip on power. Fuck them. Just fuck them. Fuck them all. Just let this crap end already. All we are doing is poisoning the well and then drinking from it and being like, oh, this well water's great, isn't it? If you say it isn't great, I'm going to shoot you. That's basically where we are. Emperor has no clothes. The rotten apples have taken over. Eat them all. Eat every last one of them. Just nom 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 nom. That's where we should be. Barbecue them up. Anywho, how about we blow up the world one more time? All right. Okay. Where am I? Go top. Brendan Wells was first with Sup. Yeah, Sup BBBY. Sup No Labs. I have no information on either of those at the moment. And Brendan Wells says, Sup, I'm tired, boss. 4ZZ9 says second. I don't know if he's seconding the entire boss or if he's just second in general, but he's both. Chris Taylor's bronze. And first to give thumbs up. Sterler, oh, Houston. What the fuck? To everything. Nothing is real anymore. Yeah. Chris Taylor, do you think Jay Powell will hold up under pressure? Yeah. I think Jay Powell will give his his nose to the Trump administration until they figure out a way to actually fire him, impeach him, or kill him. Basically, there's something in my pocket. What the hell's in here? Oh, I went through the laundry. Okay. Yeah, I think Jay Powell learned his lesson from 2019 when Trump was essentially pressuring him to keep interest rates low by demanding negative interest rates. And all that did was absolutely destroy the economy when COVID hit in a way that was worse than pretty much everyone else. You can go back as fall of 2019, it's articles from Reuters and whatnot. Trump demands negative interest rates, chastises, the Fed and whatnot. At that time, we should have been raising interest rates. Interest rates probably should have been in the 4 to 5% range in 2019. We were doing way too much corporate borrowing, and too much of that corporate borrowing was being used to do stock buybacks rather than innovation, expansion, etc., causing stock prices to rise without revenue also rising for a lot of these companies. And so it created a massively inflated stock market. And then when COVID hit and we had to shut down, we didn't have the tool of cutting interest rates to spur mass liquidity across the economy. So we had to instead print. We printed and printed and printed and printed and printed, and we had to print into a supply chain crisis where factories are being shut down all over the world, supply chains are breaking down, shipping ports weren't open, etc. And so people had money, and then they didn't have the things they could buy with that money. So as the world started to open up, they finally started spending all that cash. And by spending all that cash, they created a huge lopsided demand to supply equation, which causes huge inflation all over the world. And more so in the US than pretty much anywhere else. And that resulted in having to jack up rates really, really high. And to slow it down, the liquidity, create weird systems like the reverse repo would put trillions of dollars into the Fed overnight and would just hold it there to keep banks from spending it. Because we had to just slow down the spending to the point where demand would finally get level with the supply chain as the supply chain ramped up. And now Trump ding dong is basically vaporizing the US economy while also trying to jack up the prices on everything while demanding a cut to interest rates. But if all these tariffs go through, we're going to have massive inflation. And when we have massive inflation, we got to cut interest rates to slow down the movement of capital. So right now, the Fed's just doing nothing. They're like, no, we're not raising anything. We're not cutting anything. We're going to sit here until we figure out what the hell your trade policy is, you schizophrenic asshole. And that's where we are. And interest rates aren't going to move one way or the other until Trump shits or gets off the pot. Like, if he's going to be a crazy asshole to everybody, then just put the tariffs on everything. Quit jerking everyone around so no one has no idea what's going on, right? Or just take the tariffs off like a normal human being and then go back to having a global economy again. But until then, shit ain't happening. You can demand, cut rates, but all it's going to do is put too much cash in the market, put the banks at risk, and we're going to have huge inflation as well. So, I mean, Brazil, we have a positive trade balance with Brazil. We have a trade surplus. They buy more stuff from us than we buy from them. And we're still punishing them with a threat of 50% tariffs because they're doing their due diligence and putting a criminal on trial. Just because Trump likes the criminal. He's a hell of a guy, for a Nazi. And so, like, if Trump says anything about, trade deficits, this is why we're doing it, he's full of shit. Vietnam has zero tariffs on U.S. goods. We're slapping them with 20% tariffs. Korea, 0 tariffs on U.S. goods. We're slapping them with 25% tariffs. What the fuck? This is all crazy bullshit that we're going through today. Every day. For the rest of our goddamn lives. It's just... Can we please just go back to being a society? Is that too hard? Is that too much to ask? I know that there's lots of bots and like troll farm accounts and stuff that pop up on social media, but I'll be honest, it is extremely disheartening. You read a story about some girl who's here on a student visa from Colombia who is, graduating magna cum laude from college with all these, scholarships and job offers, and then they just arrested her and threw her ass into a detention facility in God knows where, right? Because they decided to strip her of her student visa. So now she's technically here undocumented. And you read the article and the comment section is like, hell yeah, go get him, ICE. Yeah, America. Woo, yeah, that's what I voted for. I wish I could just go through every single one of those people's comments and just have their mother slap them or something. Right? Like, their mother's probably an asshole. It's probably turned out the way they are. But it's really disgusting. It's the bloodlust in a lot of these folks is disgusting. They just want to hurt people. That's all they want to do. They want to hurt people. They would rather hurt people than help them. They'd rather hurt people than help themselves. You get these people, I saw a video clip of this woman in Kirk County, Texas, who has got her little MAGA hat on, and she's crying into the camera about how no one's helping them. They're not getting any help. They're not getting help from anyone. Who's there? No one's helping us. We're not being helped. And then somebody posted a video from her from 2 days earlier where she's all like, yeah, arrest all the illegals. Any immigrant in this country should go to prison. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck you, lady. Fuck you. The reason why you're not getting help right now is because your racism is trumping any good that will come your way. You want to hurt people so bad that you end up hurting yourself. Good job, dumbass. Good job. Remember I talked about that PSA from when I was a kid that just didn't really make any sense to me? About the young man who he's going around with his buddy and they're like breaking the antennas off of cars, like, ha ha ha. And then he gets into the car with his dad later, and his dad goes to turn on the radio, and it's just the kid looks, and there's The antenna's gone on the car. He's like, oh. I remember thinking, why would you go around breaking off antennas? It didn't make any sense to me why this was a PSA. Like, why would someone spend money to make a PSA against kids breaking off antennas? Because they may break off their own antenna, or someone may break off yours. And it only now, at 44 years old, does it make sense to me that 77 million people in this country are breaking off the antennas of all the cars and then are super pissed off when they get in their car and they can't listen to the radio because the antenna's gone. They just want to hurt people. And then they get really mad when there's blowback and they hurt themselves. It's just it's disgusting. We're disgusting, horrible monsters in this country. And we deserve everything coming to us at this point. We really do. We deserve all the horrible mud people, carpet bombings, everything else that's coming our way. We deserve the violent uprisings, the military coups, the shady leaderships, the Banana Republic crap. We deserve it all. Because the only way we're going to learn this lesson, if it's the hardest, most brutal, evil lesson that wipes out, 60% of the population. And so what comes crawling out of that are folks so grateful that this is over that for 100 years or more, we don't even think about going back to the way things were. That's probably the only solution to all this, because we're too fucking stupid to read a book to learn how this all turns out. In the end, we have to touch the hot stove to learn. And so I guess we're in the process of touching that stove, and over and over and over again. We're just not learning yet. So, Monkey, at least you have no idea what's going on. You just know I talk to a wall every day. Okay, Bill Coyne, good rant tonight. Well, thank you, Bill. Just Mammy. Funny thing that a bunch of powerful men abuse little girls. The only person in jail is a woman. Ta-da! Right? Funny thing how in 2009, countless fraud was going through the entire country and being investigated, and the only person who went to jail was the person who stole from the rich people. Right? That's how it goes. Yeah, no, it's, somehow Diddy got off on a whole bunch of his counts, right? And only got a couple of them. They had like video evidence of him doing these crimes. Like, what the hell, man? What if in this country, like, you could have lawyers for civil things all you want, whatever. Probably you can hire all your law firms for that. But what if you only could have public defenders, regardless of your income level? So if you're a billionaire being accused of a crime, you had to take a public defender, just like the kid, from the impoverished family who got busted for something. What if that was the way things worked? So that Diddy would have to sit there with a public defender who's got 200 other cases that week he's got to work on, trying to figure out how to get Diddy, a reduced sentence or whatever. What if that was the way to make things egalitarian in this country? Well, Chris Taylor, that was a good Reddit post today. Just Mammy, the irony of this timeline. I didn't see which one that was. I will probably. I did Reddite.com. That's not at all Reddit.com. Okay, close that. To there. We got from Julius Wilson. Free real estate. Free real estate. Oh, yeah. Free real estate. How come I'm not seeing it, Julius? It's from 2 days ago. Where are they all? Hot. Oh, it's under hot. That's why. I want new. There we go. Okay. Of course, not refreshing at all. Send it to me, Julius. I'm not seeing it when I scroll. I don't know where it is. But anywho, crap. So Kitsch, I'm thinking No Labs is vaporware and they will never submit to FDA approval. I've seen the technology work firsthand. They've got independent labs tested it and it works. I don't know why it's taking them so long to file for FDA approval. I don't know. I feel like it should be in their interest to just send the sucker in. If their measurements are within margin of errors of invasive glucose monitors, send it in. You know, you can tweak the algorithms, you can make it better and better. But with this FDA, you just grease their palms with 20 grand and they go, rubber stamp, right? So just send it in, get it approved, get it to market, get the insurance companies paying for it, make some money. Devron is here. Snarler is maybe a trafficker who trafficked girls to nobody, it seems. Oh yeah, talking about Epstein. Yeah. With hundreds or thousands of videos and picture evidence and all that jazz that will never be revealed as to who is in those pictures. You know, I don't need to know the names of the victims. I don't. I care about the people who are the perpetrators in those pictures and videos. You know, the girls testified to the fact that there were secret cameras everywhere. Ghislaine Maxwell admitted in interviews that there were secret cameras everywhere. Basically, you know, either Epstein is just really getting off and watching dudes do things, or he's using it for blackmail purposes. Those are the only two reasons. And why not both, right? Devron, Houston, give Monkey Butt a big treato. Love you, Monkey Butt. Why don't you do that? Oh, did you hear me lean back? Does that mean I'm gonna reach up here? The crinkle in the bag? Oh, that's cat stuff. There we go. Is this what you want? Want one of these? That's a little one. That's a decent sized one. Look at that. Put it in your mouth. There you go. Make some loud crunchy noises for everybody. Okay. You gonna eat it? Hey, what if I take it from you? What if I, oh, where'd you go? Oh. Put it in your mouth. Put it in your mouth. Okay. And 9. Think Pulte will buy the stapler just to get to RC's underwear? All these people trying to connect the stapler to Moas. We're going to see this timeline. I don't care about puzzles. I don't care about Easter eggs. I don't care about numerology. I don't care about the signs or, you know, if you look at this date, which day of the week, oh, this just happens to be like, you know, National Cat Day. I don't give a flying shit about any of that stuff. I don't care. I do not care. I understand some people can have a fun time solving these puzzles. I guess it's the way to kill time. But in the end, all they're doing is just making shit up and finding unconnected, you know, lines between these things, and we're still not getting paid. So, pay us. Reward your shareholders. You fucking clown. Reward us already. We've been in this for years. The only reason your shares are not worth $5 right now is us and our buying power. So reward us, man. You're worth billions as a result of retail investors investing in your company and trusting you. So put some of that trust to work and earn it. Pay us. Because right now, your shitty politics helped elect a goddamn Nazi to office who's going to destroy everything in this country. And you know what's going to do? It's going to fucking destroy you too, Ryan. You are a Jewish immigrant in this country. You're a Jewish immigrant. You don't think at some point when they run out of all the brown people, they're going to start going through their file folders and be like, well, this one's Jewish and from Canada. Yoink. Right? They'll come for you too, man. They'll come for you too. And he's already eviscerating your bottom line with these stupid tariffs. So you're getting punished one way or the other. You're getting punished financially in the end for all this crap. And you're going to get punished personally in the end when they start running out of brown people to arrest. Your time's coming, dude. You know?
First they came for the brown people, but I wasn't brown, so I didn't care.
That's where you are, my man. So pay us. Yes, we're on the stupidest timeline. Yes, there's some dumb staple that someone's gonna drop $1 million on so they can get a pair of Ryan Cohen's underwear. It's Just Miami sends a green chat in here. Prince Andrew free to travel abroad as FBI ends probe into royal Jeffrey Epstein links. Yeah, yay, hooray! So Prince Andrew can now go to Thailand and pay for all the children he wants or something at this point. Cool. Way to go, us. All right, the cat's yelling. Come in. 1 sec. Come on, dude. I know you're yelling at me. Okay. All right, cat. All right, here we go. Come up here. Yep, there you go. Cat karaoke. Trooper. If you had to throw out a best educated date for this BBY thing to emerge, what would it be? 2059. It could have emerged by now. I mean, in the plan, it could emerge at any time with all this other crap being resolved by the plan man. So it could emerge right now. What's keeping it from emerging? Last couple of court cases? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Because, like, if it turns out Ryan is behind all of this and he just goes, hey, haha, GameStop owns this, I'm dropping the 16B case against myself. Right? He could do that. So why are they waiting? Why? I don't know. So, best guess, dude? All right, find drugs. Whatever. What would you do without your drug habit, weirdo? Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. September 30th. Let's go with that. I hope it's sooner than that because we're all going to need to ride out of here at some point. Iggy Lamone, don't let Jake or Sal hear you say that because RC works so hard because they know what he does all day as CEO. The man can eat a big old bag of shit. No CEO works hard. They don't. They don't work hard. They delegate. They tell other people to do things. That's not working hard. You know, you put Ryan Cohen on his feet for a 10-hour shift at a busy restaurant on a concrete floor. He'll know what working hard is. You tell him to do a 12-hour shift picking watermelons out of a field. That's working hard. Cleaning bathrooms at an elementary school. That's working hard. Flipping mattresses and making beds in a hotel. That's working hard. CEOs don't fucking work hard. They're trusted to make decisions and to hire the right people, and those people do the hard work. That's where it comes from. The CEO is not writing reports. His underlings are writing the reports. His executive assistant is the one facilitating and making sure everything gets done right. No, CEOs don't work hard. They never have. They just don't. They'll lie to you and say they do. Oh, Elon Musk, I'm sleeping in the factory. Make sure. See, Elon Musk isn't doing fucking shit except ruining whatever project he's working on. And everyone else in that, at Tesla or at Starlink or at SpaceX, what they're doing is they're putting out the fires that asshole is setting at all times with a smile on their face, being like, please don't fire me. And that's basically what it comes down to. CEOs don't work hard. If your company is based in Dallas and you're living on a beach in Florida, you're not working hard. I don't care. Oh, I'm doing it remote. No. You're an idea man. I'll give you that. You come up with plans. You're executing those plans. You're hiring the right attorneys. You're hiring the right people to facilitate all that. But all you're doing is delegating. Delegate. You're not working hard. No billionaire works hard. They play hard. They make lots of decisions in a day. But they aren't working. No, you have enough drugs right here. No, no, don't use your tail to brush it away. Come on, man. I'm working harder right now, scooping up this cat nip than a CEO does in a day. There, right there. Eat it. But no, they're not.
I want people who work hard.
Well, okay. Stop it. Stop. Stop. You have so much drugs. So much. Look at all this. There's so much in this drug pile right here. Right here for your little face hole to absorb. Look at that. I've got like, it's like, I feel like Pablo Escobar right now, and you're just ignoring everything I have here for you. Look, look, hey, right there, look, look. Here, if I take this and I pretend to get some out, will that work? Look at that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, because you're a stupid little cat, aren't you, with a tiny little marble brain? Yeah. Oh, I'm so dumb. I just want one thing, and that is drugs. Oh, I'm an addict. Okay. Did I say eat the rich already? Eat them. Eat them up. Okay. But yeah, Pulte will buy RC's underwear, probably. I don't know who else is going to spend that much money on it. I certainly don't have 100,000, 200,000, whatever it is at right now to go buy a stapler and be like, isn't that a funny joke? No. If I had that kind of money, I probably wouldn't be here right now doing this show. I would have fucked off somewhere like a European billionaire and would be sitting on a beach, enjoying a drink. You're knocking more of my magnets off, cat. It's a nice magnet setup, and you keep knocking them off. Nope, stop. Stop. You're a terrorist. Come here. Come here. Just go like that. I'm gonna sit right here. Yeah, go right there and sleep. Sleep. Go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Put you in a headlock. Go to sleep. Yes, there it is. Yes, just let it happen. There you are. So, yeah. Anyone spending $100,000 on that is, well, that's the person that should be taxed, really. Like, it's unnecessary. I guess it is going to go to a charity in the end, so it'll probably end up being a tax write-off, but still, like, it's silly. Jesus Christ, cat. Cheese and rice. Okay. Hey, let's do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Yeah. Okay. Larry Dubs, Houston. Good luck with the job applications in Canada. I completed my first step in getting a temporary residency in Mexico, so I can get the fuck out when shit goes down. Also, I saw today that Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, basically sent a message to the Trump administration saying, hey, if any of our citizens end up in your alligator Auschwitz, we're going to have a problem. I don't know exactly what she can do about it, but she sounds pissed and she sounds determined. And I'm sure there's going to be some people in the State Department otherwise who'll be like, hey, man, probably shouldn't do that. And we're going to do it anyway. And we're going to face out whatever consequences it happens to be. Think about it right now. Right now, we have Secretary Noem sending secret police into an American city to gather up as many Mexicans as they possibly can to send them off to secret prisons. And then the Mexican government currently has sent emergency personnel into Texas to rescue Americans, while Kristi Noem took 72 hours to send anybody in. The Mexican government reacted faster to our own natural disaster than our government did, because we're too busy trying to capture a bunch of brown people and send them to a prison. That's our priorities right there. That's our priorities. And it's disgusting. We are disgusting. We are disgusting, horrible monsters to have let any of this happen. And our elected officials are a bunch of goddamn pussies. And the international community is disgusted with us, but they don't know what to do because we're basically like a drunk in a bar waving a gun around. And so they're doing their best to just not make eye contact with us and determining like, hey, what's the safest way out of here? Because that's all we are. We're just a bunch of fucking monsters. Absolutely terrible. I have zero pride in this country right now. None. Absolutely zip. We could affect real change. We could make people's lives so much better. And yet all we do is make the worst decisions that just ruins everything in the end. Because there's some guy with so much money at the end of the other decision that the decision makers go, well, that's a lot of money, so I'm gonna do that. And then everything else just goes to shit. Here we are, just eating our shit sandwiches with that shit-eating grin. Haha, everything's okay. It's not. It's not okay. So anyway, good for you, Larry Dubs. Larian, just wanted to stop by so that I can say that I look forward to listening to this video tomorrow when I do my run in the morning. Have a good one. Well, it's just a fucking angry run. That's run I'd be doing right now. Chris Taylor, SPY, BTC, NVIDIA, all-time highs. Yeah, NVIDIA, I read that NVIDIA is 3.7% of the entire global GDP right now. 3.7% of the global GDP is NVIDIA. This is a company that, 90 billion in sales? What's NVIDIA's? Whatever it was super small compared to what I thought it was. NVIDIA revenue. $148 billion. That's NVIDIA's total revenue. So NVIDIA's total revenue is smaller than basically every oil company. Smaller than Microsoft, smaller than Facebook, smaller than Google, smaller than Amazon, smaller than Walmart. So 148 billion. And yet they're worth trillions. They're worth 3.7% of the entire global GDP on that. That is a massively overvalued stock. Incredibly overvalued. And how did it get so overvalued? Well, they Enroned it, for one. And two, Tiger, which is the hedge fund arm of SoftBank, basically has been front-running options plays on NVIDIA and generating as much wealth as they can because they're about to go bankrupt themselves. So we've got this hugely inflated stock with revenue that's also inflated due to the fact that they lend money to buyers to buy their chips, and then the buyers use those chips as collateral to get more money to buy more chips, and they use those chips as collateral to get more money to buy more chips, and it just becomes this giant false money-making machine that's going to fall apart someday, right? I mean, you're looking at your butthole, so I can't really trust your opinion at this point. Now, at 9, how soon would we know if Berkshire has made buys? How soon would they need to report big buys like that? Well, I think once the stock market drops like 70%, we'll know. So the Buffett indicator, talking about how the market ideally will be as valuable as the entire US GDP. And when the market dips below that, it's a buying opportunity because stocks are going to go back up, right? And what's above that, it's a selling opportunity because it's going to go back down. The Buffett indicator had never been above like 180%. So it's 80% more than the US GDP. Right now, it's at 300%. This is a gigantic balloon waiting to pop. And when it does, we're looking at the failure of most banks in the country. We're looking at bankruptcies galore. We're looking at just massive sell-offs, liquidations, margin calls, etc. And that's when Berkshire will step in and just go nom, 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 and gobble up as much as they can. So yeah, we have not gotten there yet. With SPY being 625, 626, setting records, we're not going to see Berkshire buying into this because it is completely lopsided, and it's got to correct. I don't know how long they can keep it going. I really don't. Prime Day, the opening day of Prime Day was yesterday. Sales were down 41%. And the demographic of Amazon users, the majority demographic are 25 to 44, upper middle class. And if those folks aren't buying, well, what's Amazon going to do, right? I mean, also Prime Day is kind of a giant hoax. My old, fantastic, wonderful, great inflatable hot tub, the one I bought in 2016. I bought it for $327. I got it off Amazon. I'll be honest. I got it off Amazon. It lasted me years and years and years and years. I bought another one during COVID. That one didn't last as long. That one was a piece of shit, but also it's because I went to Europe and my roommates, when the power went out, didn't go out and turn it back on, so all the pipes froze and exploded and didn't work anymore. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'll get another inflatable hot tub. About time. And I went to go look, and the Prime Day deal on the one that I bought for $327 9 years ago is currently $540. Do you know how much it costs not on Prime Day? $540. So the price didn't go down at all. They just lied and like, oh, it's a Prime Day deal. No, it's the exact same price it's always been for the last couple of years. You're just lying to me there, Jeff. So stop fucking lying to me, pretending like it's a good deal. It's not. It's a terrible deal. It's $200 more than I paid for it 9 years ago. Technology has not changed, has not gotten better, has not improved. So, like I'm paying for research and development costs into a new generation of inflatable hot tub. It's just the same old inflatable hot tub that existed 9 years ago. So, Adam Davey, can you help me understand de-dollarization? I don't get it. De-dollarization is basically eliminating the US dollar as the global reserve currency. Because the dollar is used as official currency in multiple countries around the world. It's also been used as like a stabilizing force for countries that had runaway inflation. They just adopt the US dollar as official currency and do away with their old currency, or they tie their currency to the US dollar, etc. And it stabilizes their governments. We established the petrodollar, meaning all oil trade must be done in US dollars. So that is a stabilizing force for the US dollar. It makes it really easy to go buy stuff around the world with it. And we were until this year the largest givers of aid globally. We would send about $100 billion a year in cash, not talking wire transfers, like pallets of cash to disaster zones and physically pass it out to people and to NGOs so they could use that money to buy stuff. And where would they buy that stuff? Well, with US dollars, you can buy it from anywhere, but you also would buy a lot of American products with it. So the de-dollarization is essentially killing the United States as the de facto reserve currency and then replacing it with something else. BRICS tried to replace it with whatever BRICS coin they have, but everyone in BRICS all hates each other and they can't get along, and so nothing actually came with that. The tech bros, the Curtis Yarvins, the JD Vances, Peter Thiels, those guys are trying to make Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies the replacement. The problem is that all the cryptocurrencies that people would have access to, they don't really have access to anymore. Like, I want a Bitcoin. Okay, you're going to spend $113,000 for that. I don't have $113,000. Well, tough shit, you're not getting a Bitcoin. I mean, you can get a fraction of one. Doesn't that make you feel cool? The 0.000000023 Bitcoin or whatever? It's dumb. So the de-dollarization is essentially eliminating the stability of the dollar, creating massive inflation so that the buying power of the dollar disappears, and that foreign currencies can then come in and order goods from us that way. And it would become a big manufacturing hub, kind of like China is. And then we make stuff and send it out the world. The problem being is that, one, we pissed off the world so much they don't want our goods, so no one's going to be manufacturing things here anyway. And two, we don't have the population to do the type of manufacturing that everyone wants us to do. To make iPhones, you need 600,000 people in a single factory. The city of Seattle is the 19th largest city in the United States, and there's 800,000 people total in it. So I'd be like, hey, let's have the city of Seattle make nothing but iPhones. It's not going to happen. So they're trying to eliminate colleges, trying to eliminate research and development and science expenditures, and get people to not go to college, because then you have skilled labor, and that skilled labor wants to do things other than stamp out pieces of sheet metal all day long. So you need to make them real dumb, and you need to make them real poor, so that they'll be grateful to work on a factory floor for 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. Once you have that, then we've made America great again. So that's why you de-dollarize, and it's It's really dumb. All you know, we could have done instead of de-dollarization, instead of destroying our economy, instead of doing all that stuff, we could have just taxed some rich people at like 40%. That's all we had to do. Just tax them at 40%, and problem solved, right? Done. But no, rich people are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I have to buy a third yacht. I can't be taxed at 40%. So no, and that's what it comes down to. So you get to eat mud because they want a third yacht, and that's where we are. Money magnet. Do you think Trump can delay the crash until after the midterms? Oh, hell no. No. Biden was doing everything he possibly could, and he had a really, really, really competent administration. Biden himself, say what we will about his competence, his mental faculties, and physicality, whatever. But the people who worked for him were definite experts in their fields. They were very competent. They were very determined, and they managed to turn what was a really bad situation around and keep job growth going, keep the economy afloat for way longer than I thought was possible. The Trump administration has incompetent goons, absolute chodes. They don't know what the fuck they're doing except for evil, and they will choose the asshole decision every step of the way, and that won't last that long. The bottom will fall out, and they will not have a competent response to it, because anyone who's competent will not work for this administration, or they've just been fired straight up from the bureaucracy if they're career bureaucrats, and they're going to go in the private sector or do whatever it is they do, retire. I don't know, but no, when the bottom falls out of this, it's going to fall out hard. And Jay Powell will try to do what he can, but the folks at Treasury are so incompetent and stupid, I don't know if they'll follow suit. So, yeah, it's coming. It's coming real hard. The banks are letting off these like little warnings. Jamie Dimon said today that this economy, the bomb's going to fall out of this economy, especially if he starts slapping tariffs back on all these countries again. So, no, we're doomed. Man, what the fuck's going on? I don't know. Dead Bass. Would a Ted Cruz flight tracker app suffice for Texas weather alerts in the next few years? I mean, there's basically a 100% correlation between Ted Cruz going on vacation and Texas absolutely having to like just take the dildo of consequence on that one. Yeah, probably good, Dead Bass. If you made a little app for that and charge everyone 99 cents, you would have 30 million Texas customers right there. Aaron Salentine, in Mexico, there is a big movement where Mexicans don't want Americans moving there because it raises the rents based on supply and demand, and disbalance has been growing for a while. For the rise of a third party, it will either be the right-wing Libertarian Party or the left-wing Libertarian Party that is the Green Party. I'd rather go with the left wing to eat the rich. I'm so done also with the rich. We need to go back to the gold standard. We need to eat control how much credit is thrown in the economy. Also, there is more credit than physical money out there. I think we don't need the gold standard. For one, there's not enough gold on Earth for us to do a gold standard anymore. Basically, if we went to a gold standard, the average price of an ounce of gold would have to be around $50,000 in order to make it so that we could redeem gold at a rate we did when the population of this country was 40 million people, right? There's not that much more gold in existence. There's only so much of it out there. So we go to a gold standard, it's going to be hard for us to be dynamic and competitive with anything, and a loaf of bread's going to cost like 20 grand. So you would experience wild runaway inflation almost instantaneously, and it would take years for us to get back to a point where we are somewhat stabilized. And I don't know if we ever could if we went back to a gold standard. So that's one issue. Also, it doesn't allow us to do any tweaking, quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, when things do get bad. When we were back on a gold standard, we had a Great Depression about once every 10 to 15 years. Absolute collapse of the economy every 10 to 15 years for nearly the first 150 years of this country until we got rid of the gold standard. So there are folks who make some compelling arguments for why we need to go back to it. But we need to be able to use the purchasing power of the U.S. government to sort of tweak the economy in a way that saves us from ourselves. And that's what we need with the fiat currency. The problem is with the fiat currency today is that we let the banks get too big and we stripped away too many of the regulations that kept them from doing the shit that crashes the economy over and over and over again. But we're lucky in that we haven't had a Great Depression since the Great Depression. So there's some things to think about. The biggest problem is the wealth accumulation, and we need to essentially just strip the wealth accumulation from a whole bunch of the wealthy. And I know it sounds very like communist to say, but they have too much. We need a culling of wealth in the planet in general. If you are so rich and you can't figure anything to invest in, and so you're like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy up every mom and pop veterinary clinic in America, and then I'm going to control the prices of everything. I'm going to jack the prices up. We're going to make a fortune, right? If that's how rich you are, I'm sorry, but you've lost your rich privilege. You don't get to be rich anymore. That's it. You just stripped your rich privilege, and you can be set adrift on a raft out into the ocean, and no one will care. Everyone's lives will improve after that. So I think what we need is regulation more than anything. We need to regulate, and absolutely punish white collar criminals and tax the shit out of them. KCDB Houston. Oh shoot, KCDB, I just lost you. I saw the Houston part. I scrolled once and he vanished. Shit. There we go. Houston. Do you watch South Park? New season looks great. Stan's dad takes ketamine and fucks the government. Planes crashing. Canada declared war. Yeah. I do watch South Park. I haven't seen the new season yet. When's it come out? I have no idea. KCB, do you ever get messages? I get messages like hundreds of times a day. What, you mean massages? Oh, do you ever get massages? I would love a massage. I haven't had a massage. Last time I got a massage was February 2020, just before COVID. And that was just purely a massage of my butt because I'd slipped on ice, fell on my butt when I was in Switzerland, bruised my sciatic nerve, and my leg didn't work for 11 months. So I was hoping this lady just punching the shit out of my butt and working on that sciatic nerve, it could like get the inflammation down. It didn't really work. I limped until December that year. I would love to have a massage. I have a tweaked vertebrae in my neck, so this nerve goes from my neck over my shoulder through my arm to my thumb and this pointer finger, which have basically been more or less kind of tingly numb since around August, which is why I couldn't pitch, because I can't feel the ball come off my finger very well. And I would love somebody to massage the hell out of me. I'm not going to a chiropractor. Fuck those guys. They're all a bunch of charlatan, creepy, weirdo, anti-vax MAGA people. I'm not going to go get my spine snapped by one of them. But man, I went to the doctor back in October. I was like, hey, my neck's fucked up. My arm's kind of numb. Can I get a massage? And she was like, well, how about we do these exercises and we'll do those for several months. And if it gets better, then we're good. I'm like, how about we do the exercises and you prescribe me a massage because my insurance will pay for the massage. And she was like, let's do the exercises first. I'm like, God damn it, woman. Just prescribe a massage. I will go get a massage. And maybe that, just click, clack, click, everything's better. And I do the exercises. My arm's not better. I still don't have a massage out of it. One of the biggest regrets of my entire life. I have lots of regrets, but one of the ones where I just slapped my forehead because it was a pure trauma response, or shock, I guess, shock response. 10 years ago when I flipped my truck in the desert and I should have died. You know, my traps were incredibly sore because I'd held on that steering wheel for dear life as I went over and over and over and over and over, and I did not let go. And so I had a couple of scratches on me, but the shoulders were killing me. And the insurance company was like, hey, you're allowed up to $25,000 in massages. That's basically 2 a week, for the next couple of years. Do you want to do that? And I was like, oh, I'll be fine. I don't need that. And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I'll be cool. And then they hung up. And then I went, what the fuck is wrong with me? I could have had 2 massages a week for like 2 years. Don't be like me. Have a more sane person handle those questions, and they'd be like, consult, like, really, sure you don't want those massages? Think about it. The massages, just take them. You don't have to be a man about this. You flipped your truck, take some massages. And to talk me through it, talk me down from like my, oh no, I'll be okay, because I was in total shock. Just don't be like me. Get the massages. But what do I do to distress? Take the dog for a walk. I love walking the dog. I love this time of year, especially. It's like, plums are starting to come out. Plums. Take a big old walk in the city. Go eat some plums. Blackberries are coming soon, like blackberries. Then the Italian plums come in September. Then it's apple and pear season. So take the dog for walks. Go steal fruit out of people's yards. That's a good stress reliever for me. And then at the end, go get an ice cream bar. That's also works for me. I like to meditate in a way. I am, without a doubt, one of the greatest solitaire players in the entire world. I will toot my horn. If you and I were to compete against each other in Microsoft Solitaire, I would fucking destroy you. You would be like, how is he that good? I am that good. So late at night, oftentimes, I will put on my tunes. I will space out. I will do a solitaire tournament, and it is really meditative for me. It really is. It really like centers me and clears my mind, and I'm just like click clack click clack click clack red black, and it is. I am phenomenal at solitaire. So take that as a note. that's my little measure. I don't do it. I've never done the solitaire like on Twitch, mainly because it's my thing. Like I can do a puzzle. I can do GeoGuessr, and I can have conversations with you folks on the chat. I don't want to have conversation. When I play solitaire, I want it to be me time. I don't want to have conversations with anybody. I want to listen to my music. I want to go click, 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 and just zone out in like a Zen fugue state. It's me time, right? So, I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll just turn off the chat and you can see me just absolutely destroy a solitaire tournament, and I won't respond to any of you. I'll be listening to my tunes, not saying a word, just clicking away, silently enjoying my time. Oh crud! I gotta get going. Everybody, you have a great day. I gotta get this fat piece of crap's asthma medicine and then run off to work. You guys have a great day. I'm gonna click this.